Recorded live with little or no editing, it's Roster Roast. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we are going to be roasting Deucalion. And we grade on 5 different things. We do ISOs, placement, power levels, who you're using, and what kind of mood I'm in. Well, let's jump right into it. We got team number 1. We got Hydra Red Skull. Now, personally, I think it's time we just retire this team altogether. If you're going to use this team, then you need to be using, in conjunction with it, the Shield Fury Coulson Inhumans hybrid also, because you kind of need Inhumans to attack into this one and that one. So if you put them both on your list, there's a good chance that they'll use their Inhumans here and then end up not having anything left over down the road. But I don't think you're using them down there, are you? You've got somebody else here. Yeah, you just got the standard team over there. We'll get there. Okay, you're using Hydra Red Skull. You've got good placement. You've got decent enough ISOs, although I don't like fortifiers on tanks for the most part. That Hydra Armored Guard needs to be probably a healer. The rest are okay. It works. Like this team, it doesn't really matter what ISOs you use. You can use fortifier on everybody, healer on everybody. It doesn't really matter. People are just going to come in here with a big AoE kind of team and wipe them out. I think you should be farming Red Skull and get Sniper up to a 7th star also. It's kind of a back burner event, but mostly you should take this team off of defense. Use Hydra Red Skull on your Zemo team with Grenadier, and then let these guys sit at the bottom of your roster. It's just not a high functioning team anymore. But, you know, you get points for, if you're going to use them, you got them in the right place, and you got, for the most part, the right ISOs. I'd like to see the power level brought up a little bit more if you're going to use them, something like 250 at this point, and then change that fortifier to a healer. I'm going to give you, it would normally be an A-, but the team's just such a bad team at this point. I think it's a B+. Team number 2. Okay, this is a crap team. Nobody likes them. You need to switch this over to the Technerva version with Minerva and Vision. Get rid of Gamora. She's trash. Drax is, he's a pretty taunting tank, but who cares at this point? We got 2 better ones in the game already. So swap out those 2 characters. You have no ISOs on this team. That's unforgivable at this point. You should always have at least a level 1 ISO on any team that you're using in war, offense, or defense. It's inexpensive enough that you can put that on your entire roster at this point. You want Star-Lord to be a striker. You want Rocket to be striker. Groot to be a skirmisher. Then you're going to put Raider on Vision and Healer on Minerva. And that Technerva team is okay. They're pretty fast. You at least have to stop and think about who you're putting in there against them. You've probably got 100,000 Minerva. That's going to bring this power level up a little bit, and it's going to make it look like a bit tougher team. I don't know where your Vision is, but I'm guessing he's about 50k or something like that. But this team here, the original Guardians, they fold like a lawn chair. It's no good. I'm going to give you a D for this team. ISOs, your placement is, this placement is okay, but no ISOs. That's just terrible. The ISOs is going to bring this team's ability to perform up a lot more, so. Moving on, team number 3, you've got the Mercs with Shuri. If you're going to run Shuri on the Mercs, you might as well put Killmonger on here too, unless you're using Killmonger on that Skilletary team, which, man, I'd wait for the rework on that, see where it lands. Yeah, get Killmonger on here in place of... Get Killmonger in here in place of Korath, and in place of Bullseye, you need to put Merc Lieutenant. Merc Lieutenant not being on this team is a travesty. He's amazing. He's the best minion in the game, and he works incredibly well with this team. He makes their sustain value just through the roof. Also, your ISOs are absolute garbage. You need Skirmisher on Taskmaster and Striker on everybody else, Healer on Shuri. Healer's the only one you got right. You don't need Fortifier on a tank. There's only 2 tanks in the game, in my opinion, that deserve Fortifier, and that's because they're specialized. Yeah, so your ISOs are terrible. You're using the wrong people. Your placement is going to change drastically when you put in the other 2 people. You're going to want Lieutenant in place of Shuri, and then you're going to have Shuri and Killmonger over here on the sides. This is a good team to use. It requires specific counters. It can be countered easily, but it does require specific teams to come in and take care of it. And you got a good power level going here. So fix the ISOs, get the right people in there. That's a D+. Okay, this team is garbage. Again, you don't have any ISOs, and the ISOs you do have are the wrong one. You don't need Fortifier. You need Healer on him. What you should be doing is getting rid of this guy and putting in Medic, because Medic keeps Coulson alive. And then you're going to put Raider on everybody except for Healer on the Medic is what you'll end up doing. You can put Raider or Healer on this guy, but definitely want Raider on these three. Assaulter gives increased crit chance, and adding Raider to that, they basically crit 100% of the time, which makes Fury do ability energy, and it makes Coulson do Coulson things. Turn meter rewind on this team, all kinds of stuff. But you got to get those ISOs on there. You got to get Medic in here, and you got to get them set up the right way. Your placement will be shield security, followed by probably Assaulter, and then Coulson, and then you're going to do Medic, and then you'll do Fury on the outside. It should be the order. So, again, you've got good power level on this team, but they're just being used really poorly. This is, I mean, you could get a really good grade here, but for the wrong people, wrong placement, wrong ISOs. No ISOs, for crying out loud. Get those ISOs on there. At least level 1. That's another D. Okay, here's a good team. You got pretty good placement. I would swap Sabretooth and Mystique, because Mystique has an evade that she can give to Sinister, and he passes it to the rest of the team. You could put Fortifier on this tank. Strife is one of the 2 tanks that I think goes good with Fortifier. He's got a barrier mechanic already, and it just helps him keep that barrier topped off. Everybody's trying to go through him, and he's so slow, he's not passing out heals fast enough. He's probably only going to give out, like, I mean, if he stays alive the entire match, he's only going to be able to give out like 3 or 4 heals total. Whereas somebody like Mystique could give them out faster, but you don't want Healer on her. You got Skirmisher and Raider. These are good ones. She's clearing buffs, and he's bouncing around all over the place. Healer on both of those is good. You got good red stars on this team. I like it. I think you should swap these 2, but that's an A-. I think it's a good team. Okay. Over here, you got Asgardians. Asgardians suck. Take them off. Just get rid of them. There's too many counters, too many things that destroy this team. They don't hold up. You got a good power level. You can use these guys on offense all over the place. Put Hela on the Supernatural team in place of either Scarlet Witch or, I don't know, Shooty McBlasterpants, whatever that redhead's name is. And then Thor, you need to put him over as a Raider, not a Striker anymore. He has a lot of splash damage and AoEs. Skirmisher, Striker should be the combo pair you use here, not Raider on Hela. Elsa, thank you. Elsa Bloodstone is the one you can replace Hela with. And then you should go with a Raider on Heimdall, and again, don't use Fortifier on tanks. They don't need it. They're always the last ones to die. If your tank is dying before they're supposed to, then you can put Fortifier on them. Like let's say that her power level was only like 45,000, and you're like, I don't want to invest in her, but I need to use her on the team. Then you throw in Fortifier for a short period of time to bridge that gap. But Sif is like always the last one to die on this team. Why bother putting Fortifier on her? It's pointless. All right, so change the ISOs. The placement on this team is good enough. Yeah, take them off the defense, though. You can put Loki and Hela over here with your Mercs and make that Merc Guardians team. It works pretty good. Usually gets at least 1 defensive victory. You can throw Thor on Thor on the Avengers now. He works great over there. These 2 are trash. There's nothing you can do with them. Or you could just run this whole team on offense. I know they don't get the war buffs that they do like on defense, but they're still a good offensive team too. So yeah, you got the wrong ISOs, decent placement, good power levels. I'm going to give you a C for this team, but I recommend take them off, use them someplace else. Over here, this one is a real mess. Okay, Hero Brawlers. You need to put Skirmisher on Miss Marvel and Striker on everybody else. You are drastically reducing this team's capability to do damage, because with a T4 on Miss Marvel in her, I think it's her passive, she assists every single time one of these Hero Brawlers goes. And so she goes and puts the vulnerable out there, and then they go after her, and you get a triple hit combo off of everybody on the team. So this is an absolute waste of this team's potential. Now, you have a great big Captain Marvel, and that's cool. If you're going to run her separately as another plug-and-play character, at this point I'm recommending going with Healer so that she can keep herself topped up and just be that one-man army. And, like, if you're going to mess up these ISOs this badly on this team, you might as well make her a healer. What, skirmisher? That's a complete waste of her talents. She should be a striker. And she should be a striker on this team, and Miss Marvel should be a skirmisher, not a healer. Same thing with Spider-Man. Although you should... Spider-Man has some synergy with Miles, I guess. I don't know where your Squirrel Girl is. Squirrel Girl belongs on this team. She's the only one that you could do as a healer, but I run her as a striker also. And I'm getting good value out of that team, even though it's a subpar team. It's not even a top 10 team, but if you run them on defense, that's how they should be. So yeah, it's a complete waste without the proper ISOs. This team just gets rolled over. I would go, gosh, that's a D for this team too. I just hate to see it being wasted. It's not a great team in the first place, but okay. And the last team, my personal favorite, running defenders on defense. I absolutely hate when people do this. So you got huge power levels on this team. I'm sorry that you wasted so much. You've got 7 red stars on Daredevil. I hope that was a pull and not a purchase. Yeah, break this team up. You might as well be putting Daredevil on the Shadowlands team and Punisher on the Skilletary team. Break them up. Don't use them here. Hey, look at that. You didn't put Fortifier on the tank. That's good. Although your placement's terrible too. I'm going to give you an F for this team. It's an absolute waste. Go for Shadowlands. You got that 7 red star Daredevil. You might as well be building the Shadowlands team. Yeah, F for that one. All right. This has been Roster Roast for Deucalion. You can catch me here on Twitch. I might be switching my times from Mondays to either Tuesdays or Thursdays. I don't know. But it's 9 to noon every morning. And you can just come find me there and hang out with us. We do Roster Roasts every time. And, yeah, thanks for joining us.